Hey everyone, welcome to the series review. As always, I'm your host Scottish Warrior 82, and in today's episode I'm going to dive into Season 1 of Smallville, Episodes 3 and 4, Hothead and X-Ray. So, I'm going to dive into these two episodes, and really, normally I would just review them individually, but I really don't have much to say on these two episodes. I don't think this is going to be a long ass one, so I might get another 2 episodes done today. But I really don't have much to say on these episodes because they're not the strongest episodes. They're definitely the weakest of the weaker episodes of the series. But I've got about a half a page of notes on each, so I thought I'd just do the two of them in one review. So we'll start with the first episode, which is episode 3, Hotheaded. Now I've got my notes here, and really, this is the problem I had with Smallville when it was first coming out. Like, when I was watching, I tried watching Smallville when it first came out, but I just couldn't get into it, especially for the first season, because of the one simple problem I had, and it was the villains. The villains for each episode seem to always have the same problem, and episode 3 is none of the exceptions. It always seems to deal with obsession, and I know what they were trying to get a hold of, because I've got a couple of notes here about what this, but really the villain of this one is a coach. I can't remember his name. I honestly can't, because I really don't like these kind of villains that are obsessed with stuff, unless it's logical and reasonable. And it does make sense why the coach is obsessed, because he's obsessed with winning his final, I think it's like his 1000th game or something, if memory serves me. I didn't note it down. But really, it's just he gets the power to control fire due to the meteorites and a sonar, and that's another thing that kind of shied me away from the series when it was coming out first, was the meteorites, kryptonite, basically giving people superpowers. It kind of bugged me a little bit, and not so much now, but it did bug me when I was reading. And watching this episode, I could see why, because it just really goes, well, why the fuck does not everyone in Smallville have a fucking superpower? And really, it just really kind of bugged me. That's all. And so the villain in this one is the coach who's obsessed with winning his 1000th game or something, I think it is, and he gets the ability to control fire with his anger, basically, hence the title, Hot-Headed. He's not that great of a villain. Don't get me wrong, I have seen villains like this in the past in other TV series, but it just really bugs me, this type of villain, because it really, he's one note in its anger and its frustration and its obsession. It really bugs the hell out of me, these kind of villains, unless it's unless it's logical, like why he's obsessed with it. And it does make a wee bit of sense why he's obsessed with it, but he wasn't evil when he got the powers. He was always evil. He cheated, he lied, he done all that stuff to ensure that he would win, and things like that. It really bugged me. It really did bug me with this villain. The best part of this episode, though, did have to come with definitely the characters. Definitely the characters of Chloe, Lex, a little bit of Lana, and more so, and definitely it helped get a few other things across. It helped set up a wee bit of Lex and Lionel's relationship, father and son, and it definitely shows off their relationship a little bit. I like that. It shows how Lex is always trying to one-up his dad in some way, shape or form, and I like that. I always loved the chemistry between Lionel and Lex. That was one of the things that I really did like about it. Chloe is also in this. She's also put forward quite well with how she always wants to seek the truth. I like that about her character. She's always wanting to find out what the hell is going on, like why is this happening, and with the wall of weird and all that. It really does help her. I really like that. She's definitely one of these characters that you want her to succeed, and I like that, but it helped flush out her character a little bit more. It definitely also set forward a wee bit more of Clark as well, with his dad and his mum, Jonathan and Martha. Because he wants to try it for the football team. The coach kind of does this whole be your own man speech, and he tries to get Clark to join the team, and of course Clark being a teenager, he falls for it, and his dad tries to say, it's not the fact I don't trust you, it's just the fact he might lose it. His dad, basically the protectiveness that Jonathan exudes with Clark, he doesn't want people to know about, and I like that. It kind of shows a wee bit of concern, but at the same time you can also see, like, you kind of need to trust Clark a little bit, Jonathan. I like that a little bit. It also shows, of course, Clark's stubbornness in this episode, how he's always, like, no matter, if he sets his mind to something, he does it, which I like that. I like that about him. There is also a snippet of shipping in this episode between Lex and Clark a little bit. There's a little bit of shipping sorry, not Lex and Clark, Lana and Clark, and also Chloe and Clark. There's a wee bit of shipping between the two of them in this episode, but more so with Lana and Clark. Lana's a character did evolve a little bit in this episode, but not too much. Like, she quit the cheerleading team and went to get a job and all that. I like that. I liked it a little bit. That was really nice. Trying to think what else. Not much else I can say on this episode besides it's okay. It's a decent episode. Like, in fact, no, not in that case. It's actually not that good of an episode. Like, I like the characterization with a lot of the characters: Clark, Lana, Lex, Lionel, Martha, Jonathan. I like that bit. That was the best part of the episode for me. Even though some of it did drag a little bit, it still was enjoyable. The weaker part of the episode was just the villain. Like, that's the biggest thing I really hate when a series does so well. That its weakest part of the first season is the villains. The villains really bug the hell out of me. It really, really does, and it just really, really annoys the hell out of me. These villains. And I just don't like villains who are obsessed with stuff unless it's written well, like it's explained. And due to the fact that we didn't get to know the coach that well, like this is the first episode I think he's in, if memory serves me. He may have appeared once or twice, but we don't know that much about him beyond the fact that he's a fucking asshole who's obsessed with winning, and he gets the power of fire and things like that. I just didn't like the villain. That's all. That was one of the main reasons I stopped watching Smallville when it first came out. Was the villains for the first season. They really did butt the hell out of me. And also the fact that most of the villains in the series always suffered the same fate. They killed themselves, basically. Their powers caused them to die, basically. More so in this episode where the coach literally burns himself alive. Kind of bugged the hell out of me. This is a minor nitpick. There is one thing that kind of bugs the hell out of me. Anytime Clark comes close to kryptonite, his skin crawls. Like, literally it sounds like it's turning to crystal. That bugs the hell out of me. It's really cheesy in my opinion. I know like that's what they're going with in this universe, but it does really bug the hell out of me. I think later on in the series they did get rid of that, but it bugged the hell out of me. So overall, episode 3, definitely the weaker of the episodes in the first season. Not that great. Watchable just because of the characterization, but with the coach, fast forward through that shit, like, the coach isn't that great in my opinion. He really didn't like him that much. Now let's move on to episode 4, X-Ray, which is, in my opinion, a Lana-centric episode. It concentrates a lot on her character. Firstly, Clark gets a new power in this episode. He gets the power of X-Ray vision, which, of course, he uses a little loosely in some cases. Like, he gets it at the start, and then he has to learn to control it, which I liked. It's nice getting him more powers. I like that. Definitely evolving his character. Of course, the villain in this episode is another obsessed character who's obsessed with Lana. Really, really weak part of this episode. It's just, I like the idea of a villain who's obsessed with something, but it has to be done right, and it wasn't really done right in this episode because they didn't have a lot of time to set up the villain really that time, beyond like she is obsessed with Lana and some other shit. Things like that. It really bugs the hell out of me, that one. Excuse me. And it really bugs me, this character. The character in this one's the villain in this one has the power to shapeshift, basically. And she uses it to get money and things like that, and she eventually tries to take Lana's place and things like that. Really bugs the hell out of me, this kind of villain. It has to be done right, and in this episode it wasn't. It was done okay. Definitely wasn't as bad as Coach from episode 3, but this one wasn't that much better. Definitely one of the weaker parts. There's also a couple wee bit of foreshadowing as well with Lex when a reporter tries to blackmail him with the events of Club Zero. That comes on later on in the series, if memory serves me, but that doesn't come up in season 1. I don't think it comes up very late, a couple of seasons in, if memory serves me. So I like a wee bit of foreshadowing. That's kind of nice. What else? Jonathan Kent did get a good bit in this episode. He was a bit of a trainer to Clark. He helped train him a little bit, but not much, but still good there. Some of Lex's character comes out in this episode, a little bit of his true nature, how like when the reporter tries to blackmail him, he kind of fucking screws the reporter over and almost fucking costs, basically near enough erases him from the electronic history, erases everything to do with him, threatens his family, and basically is like, you don't fuck with me, okay? You do not fuck with Lex. I like that. Lex Luthor is awesome. I love that about him. Really, really well done. I like that. There's not much else I can say on this episode besides it was really well done. It was decent. It wasn't as bad as episode 3, but it wasn't that much better. Just barely. The weaker part of the episode, of course, was the villain. I don't have much else to say on this episode, but it was a Lana-centric episode. We got to learn a lot more about Lana, Clark's new power, a little bit about Lex. The best part of this episode, in my opinion, was Lana and Lex. Lana evolving as a character, and also Lex kind of stepping out and showing you what he can really do if he sets his mind to it. I like that. That was really well done. It was really, really well done. I like that. Very well done. But, again, the weaker part is the villain. That's all I've got to say on that episode. I don't have much else to say on that episode. As I said, I didn't have much to say on these two episodes, episode 3 and 4. I do have a bit more to say in the next two episodes, Cool and Hourglass, but not much more. So I'm going to do those two in a single video as well. But overall, though, episode 3 and 4 are the weaker episodes of this series, in my opinion. Best part is the characterization between the main cast. The weakest part, though, is the villains and some of the effects, I must say. Just the villains, in my opinion, really bugged the hell out of me, and they all have this overall theme of obsession, which does actually carry on in the next two episodes, which they're actually done a wee bit better there, which I like. But episode 3, 4, definitely the weaker of the series. I would definitely say you don't. The only reason I would say you had to watch these was for the characterization of Lana, Chloe, Lex, and a wee bit of Clark. Definitely would recommend them for that, but definitely episodes I think you can actually skip, if I'm going to be honest. 3 and 4 not the best of the series. Sorry, that's all I've got to say. So stay tuned and look forward to the next one. So thanks for watching. As always, I'm Scottish182, and I'll see you all later. Ciao for now.